Okay, so if you're a qualitative researcher, you know this feeling. You've finally collected all your interviews, all your documents, but now you're staring at this, well, mountain of text. How in the world do you find the real story hidden inside all of that? In this explainer, we're going to demystify a really powerful tool designed to do just that, NVivo.
Right. You've spent weeks, maybe even months, conducting these incredible interviews. The data you have is so rich and full of insights, but now it's just sitting there. It's this weird mix, isn't it? You feel accomplished, but there's also this little bit of dread because you know the real work is just about to start.
And that dread? It often looks a lot like this. You're just facing stacks and stacks of transcripts, and your job is to somehow find the hidden patterns, the core themes that are going to be the backbone of your entire research project. Honestly, trying to do this by hand can feel less like a journey of discovery and more like you're just drowning in paper.
And that brings us perfectly to our first section here, the qualitative quandary. It's that tricky spot where the incredible richness of your data also becomes the source of all your anxiety. Let's imagine this is your research problem, right? You've done this fascinating study on leadership, you've got amazing quotes from managers, but it's all just text. It's totally unstructured. How do you systematically pull out the key insights about collaboration or decision-making or team dynamics? Where do you even begin? Well, trying to analyze all this by hand isn't just slow, it's also really prone to human error. I mean, think about it. You might code a concept one way on a Monday and then a slightly different way on Friday. That leads to inconsistency. And trying to spot those really complex relationships across dozens of interviews manually, it's next to impossible to do it reliably. But what if you had a research copilot, a tool designed specifically to bring order to all that chaos so you can focus on what you do best, thinking, analyzing, and connecting the dots? So let's introduce NVivo. Just look at the shift here. On the left, you've got the world of manual analysis. It's overwhelming, it can be inconsistent. But on the right, you see what happens when you use a tool like NVivo. The whole process becomes efficient, systematic, and focused. You literally go from being bogged down by data management to being empowered by data insights. So it's really important to get this. NVivo isn't just some digital filing cabinet, it's an active analysis tool. It becomes your central hub where you organize everything, analyze it systematically, and start to uncover findings you might have completely missed otherwise.
And its versatility is just a huge plus. You're not just limited to text documents. You can throw in your interview transcripts, open-ended survey responses, academic PDFs, reports, you name it. It creates a single, powerful space for all of your research materials.
So how does it actually work? This next section gets into the nitty-gritty, the core workflow of going from raw text to powerful themes.
The path to insight really boils down to these three simple steps. First, you get all your data into one place. You import it. Second, you start the core process of coding your sources. And finally, you use the software's tools to analyze those codes and discover your themes.
Now that second step, coding, that's the absolute heart of the process. Coding is really just a fancy word for organizing in a systematic way. When you find an interesting passage of text, you tag it with a concept or theme. In NVivo, these themes are called nodes. Just think of a node as a digital bucket where you collect every single piece of evidence about one idea, no matter which document it came from.
Let's see this in action with that quote from our leadership study. A manager says this about what makes a leader effective. Just notice how many different ideas are packed into this one single sentence. And here's the magic. You can highlight that one quote and assign it to multiple nodes at the same time. It definitely speaks to collaborative leadership, but it also says something about decision-making style and the team environment. With every single click, you're building a richer, more interconnected analysis. That's pretty cool. Now, once your data is all coded up and organized into these nodes, NVivo helps you take a step back and see the bigger picture. And this is where you get those amazing aha moments, usually through some really powerful data visualizations. A word cloud is a perfect example. It's a simple tool, but it can instantly give you a feel for your data. By looking at word frequency across all of your interviews, you can see which concepts are popping up the most. You know, if the words team, collaboration, and listen are huge, that tells you something really important right off the bat. But you can also go so much deeper with tools like hierarchy charts. This can actually show you how your nodes, your themes, are structured. You might see a big theme like collaborative leadership is supported by smaller ideas like open communication and shared goals. You are literally visualizing the structure of your argument. And here's the crucial part. These visualizations aren't just for you. You can export them directly into your final paper or dissertation. This makes your findings way more credible because you're not just telling people your themes, you're showing them the evidence that backs it all up.
But before you get started, let's just quickly cover two really common pitfalls. Being aware of these can save you a ton of headaches down the road.
The first pitfall is overcoding. In your initial excitement, it's so tempting to create a new node for every tiny little variation of an idea. But if you get too granular, you can lose sight of the forest for the trees. It can actually confuse your analysis and make it harder to spot those big, significant themes.
And the second pitfall is having unclear themes. It is absolutely vital that each node has a clear, distinct definition. If the line between, say, team environment and company culture is blurry in your mind, you're going to end up coding things inconsistently. Keeping your themes sharp ensures your final argument is just as sharp.
So what's the big takeaway here? Well, mastering a tool like NVivo isn't about letting software do the thinking for you. Not at all. It's about bringing a rigorous structure to your own thinking. And that structure is what boosts the credibility of your work, ensuring your findings aren't just interesting, but truly robust and meaningful.
So we'll leave you with a question to think about for your own work. What stories are hiding in your data, just waiting for the right tools to help you bring them to light? Thanks for joining this explainer.